this is my review for the Avatar live action. So, first question is, does it have any things it's pushing, yada yada, There's 3 instances, but it's not that much to where it, it's a problem, so I wouldn't say. So, we're going to start on episode 1, which has the least problems, but the design's pretty good, and the graph are pretty good, so we're going to start with, this is the first time I've actually made notes on this. I don't do any script or anything, so we're just going to go off the notes that I decided to do quick. So the first one is that first scene in the show itself did not start that's not how the show starts at all. That thing didn't even exist. That it doesn't exist. Okay, so where they showed that all the airbenders die, that never was shown. All that was shown is they disappeared and they died, but it didn't actually show how it happened. They just showed that they all died, basically. They didn't show that in the show at all. And this entire show gave me a headache because how much stuff they got wrong. Okay, the Fire Nation ship that Katara was training in and they went in the actual show, it was banned. And when Aang went in, he was banned from the tribe itself, because that was a place that her gran and everyone in the waterbending tribe had banned from going in. So the fact that they went in just doesn't make sense if you watch the show itself. So how Aang was found is Katara got mad and broke the ice. Where in this one, it just broke, which doesn't make sense. And Aang hiding did not happen in the show. He actually engaged with Zuko, not at the start, where he engaged until they were having problems, and then he gave up when they were in danger. So that is all. Overall, the first episode had the least bit of problems. Then we go into episode 2, which is the biggest, which is where the problems start. Okay. Episode 1, how Katara got the Earthbending Scroll. She got it from stealing it from a trader that they meet after fighting Zuko and stuff. So, her gran didn't just happen to have it. Oh, actually, on episode 1, how the show starts, they explain basically everything and how the Avatar cycle, and then the Gran does the intro for the show, which, if you're a fan of the show, you don't need to be explained, because you're probably watching it because you watched the original show, so you don't really need it explained. So, just on the intro, which kind of, yeah. Okay. The main problem with the show is the sexism of Sokka, which isn't. It's a character development, and half the show kind of avoids him from making fun of anybody and the Kyoshi one is how the problem is, because in the show he acts all cool and then he gets beat up and gets humbled, where this one he's kind of already humbled, and then he gets annoyed, and then she kind of strangles with Suki kind of strangles with him, then he gets annoyed, then fight, and then they almost kiss, and then eventually kiss, which did not happen that fast at all in the show. So, Kyoshi only shows up in the entire show when he's on trial for murder by the other Earth part of. Let me think. Yeah, when he's on trial for what Kyoshi did to another Earth tribe. That's the only time Kyoshi shows up. She did not show up to fight at all. This did not happen. This was ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. Suki got kissed. That didn't happen that fast. And the leader was not a woman. It was a man, but that's not really the biggest problem. And they made General Zhao in this entire show a bit smarter than he actually is, and team up with Zuko, which never happened. It doesn't. Again, it's something that doesn't really make sense, even within the show itself. Okay, that's episode 2. We're on to Umashu, which the biggest problem I have, apart from the start, which is the rebels, which doesn't really happen, is freaking Azula. She doesn't come into this show till season 2. She's not in there the entirety of season 1 at all. And and the biggest problem with this show is they added 3 points that were not related to a show at an episode at all, which is Jet, the mechanic, and Umashu itself. The mechanic was on an airbending temple. It was an airbending temple in the original show, but he did sell to the firebenders. And then Jet was in the woods. So, 2 things that didn't, and they weren't in Umashu. That's the third problem. So these 3 were not related to each other at all. And then we have Ty Lee and May. How they were not in the Fire Nation. Azula had to go find them. The circus and another Fire Nation place. So that did not happen in the original show. That's episode 3. Episode 4, Boomy revealing himself, like, at the get-go, doesn't make sense. Did not happen. He went through challenges, and challenges involved the rocks, which were actually candy, and Sokka and Katara were actually part of that. So, it didn't make sense, again, that they would, it's like, let's just make him reveal himself very early. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Jet and Katara, how she beats her. Aang and Sokka were there when in the original show, how he beats her. How she just freezes him. And the secret tunnel. Oh boy. This one was secret tunnel one was a little bit of a problem because they made it kind of gay, but you know, I wasn't in the original show, so they kind of changed things for no reason. When if it was in the original show, then it'd be like, okay, that's not much of a problem. But they changed it for when it doesn't really make sense to change it, and it doesn't really change the story, so why really change it? It's kind of weird. Iroh in his past wasn't really, it was talked about, but it didn't really, there wasn't an earthbender that was mad at Iroh for any reason, so that didn't really make sense. So that one was kind of weird. How that all happened, it's kind of, a lot of this stuff does past things that weren't even explained in the original show, and they're like, let's just make a random past thing that doesn't really need to be there. Okay, episode 5. Azula and Ozai. Ozai wasn't revealed. He was like there, but you never saw his face till like end of season 2, maybe middle of season 2. It wasn't revealed till season 2. June was actually probably one of the better things, and how they used her was actually pretty accurate to how she was on the show. And the Spirit World as well was pretty good as well. It was a little weird because Gyashi was pretty good, but I don't think that was really there. Then the Fire Nation. Roku was the first Avatar he met. Then Kyoshi. Then, let me think. Korok. the waterbender avatar. Roku was first, so it doesn't really make sense to do Roku second to last. And so that one was kind of weird. Okay, then episode 6 is where they actually do meet. He actually does meet Roku, and then what was kind of actually good is how he's like each avatar is different. Yada yada yada. That was pretty good. Again, General Zhao, and they made him a bit smarter than he should. Then Zuko's backstory, it was actually underneath in night in the ship, underneath where Iroh explains it to everybody, where they did it on top, and when Zuko is away. And the blue mask, I mean, that was pretty, how it worked, pretty good, but then the North. But the thing I have a problem is General Zhao did not know who was actually in the mask. He didn't know who that was. That's my... okay, episode 7, yeah. Zuko explodes. That's after they make it... Zulu was not involved in season 1 of it all. So General Zhao would not have found out that Zuko was the Blue Moon Spirit at all. It was just ridiculous and stupid. Okay. Azula, when training, she did something that they should not have done. They made her have lightning, which she did not master till she was already out of the Fire Nation and on the trip. And she trained. She didn't just randomly fire lightning. She didn't have it originally, and that was by training. She didn't just randomly, lightning, boom, yeah, whatever. Okay. Sokka and the water person. That's how it went in the show, but it was a bit weirder because, this entire show mixes stuff up. The healing and fighting thing, where she healed, but she wasn't as angry as she should have. This Katara didn't seem a bit more happier for this, and Sokka just supported her. Where in the show, Aang and them both are like, "Don't do this. This is stupid," and then they didn't use the necklace thing as a help for Pakku. That didn't work either. Then Master Katara, where they made all the women fight, and then everyone reported to Katara, which did not happen at all. And then you have Godzilla, where they made Aang become a Godzilla, which was incredibly stupid. And then Aang, Zuko and Katara in the show, he was able to capture Aang, which that did not happen in this show, which doesn't make sense. And Sozin's comment, yeah, that was pretty decent. That made sense. End of season 2, so it's commit. And then the big one, Aang did not waterbend at all in this entire show. He did not waterbend. He's supposed to waterbend by the end of the first season. He didn't waterbend in this entire show. It doesn't make sense. It's like, you're having an Avatar show, and in the show, he's supposed to waterbend by the end. He's supposed to be taught by the Water Nation, and Katara helps him a little bit. But by this point, he should at least waterbend a little bit. Which, that nightmare that I had like 10 years ago, they had Aang waterbend, but that didn't exist. So we're not gonna. it doesn't count. It was just a nightmare. Or maybe it was the Eastern Island that I was thinking of, maybe. But overall, this show was okay, but that's compared to everything we've been watching recently. Has been a bunch of crap. So we're on a really low bar here. And, okay. This question, was it filled with identity, Not really. It was just a bunch of inaccurate stuff. But things that didn't make sense. At the best, there's like 3 things there were 3 of that. But overall, it was good. But overall, if you're looking at it as someone who's never watched the original, you might like it. But if you're someone like me who likes the original, likes the cartoon, you're probably going to hate it. So, yeah, I didn't... My mind was going crazy. I think I gave myself a headache correcting everything they got wrong in this entire show. So that's my review of episode 1 through the entire series of the first live action Avatar show. So thanks for watching.